Welcome to another day of mobility. Find a comfy spot, lying on your back. Take some attention to your breath. Find that nice, relaxing pace of breath. It helps you find calm. Taking a moment to scan through your body. Just search for where you're carrying tension. If you have some typical trouble spots, take some attention to those areas. Whether that's your traps, your face, your head, neck, your pecs, your lats, in around the hips and the low back. Just imagine all of that tension just floating away as you exhale. Letting go of any mental stress. Mentally go into your happy place. And settling into that rhythm of breath that helps you find calm. If you've been doing the program for a while, feel free to count your breath as a means to tracking your progress. Generally, a slower breath will help us settle that mind down and settle into a nice relaxing state. But it's not necessary. If you start counting and find that counting adds any kind of anxiety, that's counterproductive. So it is optional. Just find that pace of breath that helps you relax and helps that body settle down, allow us to find the right state to heal and move better. Take one more breath here. And we'll start today's routine with a left hamstring release. So grabbing that lacrosse ball. And this tends to work best sitting on a relatively hard object. So that might be a table or a chair or a couch or a plyo box. And just start by searching through that left hamstring and looking for where you're carrying tension. You might be carrying tension up around the upper hamstring, around that crease where it meets your butt. Might find tension closer to the mid-belly of the hamstring, or it might be in behind the knee. Your tension will be unique to your own body. So wherever you've found tension, settle in. Experiment a little bit with how much pressure we're applying, the angle we're applying that pressure, and then settle into your breathing and do your best to sync your breath with that target tissue. As you exhale air, imagine exhaling tension from that hamstring. Let's take one more long, slow, relaxing breath, directing it into the belly. You can sigh out that breath, and we'll switch sides. Start by searching through that right hamstring, looking for where it's carrying tension. It might be tight in the same spot, it may not. Just be sensitive to what your body needs, that specific area that needs attention. Then experiment a little bit with the type of tension we're applying. And then once we're there, concentrate on getting as passive as we can. While we're sitting, we need some muscles, obviously, to sit. But any muscle we don't need, try to just turn the off switch. Those muscles in your face, those traps, your feet. And direct your attention back to your breath. Find that nice pace of breath that helps you find that nice relaxing state mentally. Once you've found that relaxing state mentally, just let that vibe work its way through your body so that everything around your body finds that nice, relaxing parasympathetic state to allow us to recover and to heal. Take one more breath. And as you let go of that breath, Then move back to your mat into a left TFL. So your TFL sits just to the outside of the crease of your hip. And just do some searching. And if you're not an anatomy person, don't stress that you're on the exact muscle. Just search for something around the outside of that hip that feels like it needs attention. And your specific needs will depend on your specific body, your specific activity history, your injury history. So you can use the pictures and the video as a guide, but really settle in and concentrate on how your body's responding, how this is feeling as you're diving into this tissue. And we want to settle into that level of pressure that helps that tissue settle down without getting any pain. We shouldn't be getting any numbness or tingling. We just want pressure release. Let's take one more breath here. And as you sigh out that breath, we'll switch to the opposite side. Start by panning through this right side, looking for what needs attention. A small change in position can really change the stimulus. Try not to settle into a position of comfort. Try to settle into whatever your body actually needs. And the only way to know that is by doing a little experimenting. And once you've found that spot, find yourself back into that nice relaxed headspace. Focusing as much of your attention on your breath as you can. Settling back into that pacing of breath that helps you relax. Relaxing the body always starts with relaxing the mind. So consciously try to relax all those thoughts in between your ears. Find a nice passive state of mind. Mentally go to your happy place. Allow yourself to enjoy the moment and enjoy some me time. And we'll take one more long, slow, relaxing breath, directing that air deep into those lower abs. Slowly sigh out that breath. We'll move into a left side lizard stretch. So in a lizard, we're going to step that left leg forward into an extended lunge. And think about bringing your upper torso towards the floor to target that left glute. And again, use the video as an idea, a starting point for what the position should be, and let your body's feedback really help you fine-tune what position you need today, what position you're going to benefit from today. And once you're there, settle back into your breath. As you let go of that air, imagine that left glute letting go of tension and submitting to the position. And in a few seconds, we'll gently get active. And as we get active, thinking about squeezing through your left glute to attempt to stand yourself up out of this lunge. And let's go ahead, starting with nice, easy tension, pressing that left heel into your mat, attempting to lift the hip up, adding pressure as we go. Finishing with big tension here. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Squeeze through your left hip flexor, your abs, actively trying to pull your chest closer to the floor. Pull yourself deeper into that stretch. Let's really squeeze here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let go of that breath. Get nice and passive. Back into your basic lizard. You may find a deeper position in the stretch. If you're not any deeper today, don't stress. Just relax. Have patience. We will get there. Let's take one more breath here. Slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll switch sides. Dip that right leg through, targeting that right leg, that right glute, in that extended lunge position. Letting that chest drop as close to the mat as possible. If you have the mobility for it, feel free to drop all the way to your elbows. And if not, on your palms. And you can extend your palms out in front or out to the side, as low as a position as your body's ready for today. Again, we want to find a good stretch through those target tissues but not get into pain. So find that level of stretch that feels right for you today. Focus on getting passive. And in 10 seconds, we'll start that little bit of activity through the glute by attempting to reverse the stretch and stepping out of the lunge. And let's go ahead, starting nice and easy, activating through that right side, adding tension as we go. Really squeezing here to finish up. Squeeze, squeeze, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse that, squeezing through the hip flexor, through the abs, trying to actively pull your chest closer to the floor, ramping up tension as we go. Really squeezing here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Get back into your passive position. Relax into that pose. Submit to the position. Focus on your breath. And turn off any muscle we don't absolutely need to hold this position. And let's take one more breath here. You can slowly let go of that breath. We'll transition to a seated fold. So sitting flat on your butt with your legs straight out in front. We're going to target those hamstrings by letting that torso fall towards your knees. And just try to find a position that's as passive as possible, a position that almost lets you fall asleep. Finding that nice little stretch through the back side of those legs and those hamstrings, a little bit behind the knee. There are no hard rules. We don't need the back totally straight. We don't need the legs totally locked out. Just feel out what feels best for you. Your body will not lie to you. It will always give you clues. If something doesn't feel right, just back off on that tension and settle into whatever amount of tension feels right for you today. In a few seconds, we will get active. We're going to press into those heels, attempt to reverse the stretch, and let's go ahead. Activating through your posterior chain, your glutes, your hamstrings, attempting to reverse this stretch, ramping up tension as we go. Really squeezing here for these last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse that. Squeeze through the hip flexors, actively pull the chest closer to the knees, ramping up tension as we go. Really squeezing here for the end. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Get nice and passive. Submit to that stretch. Fall into whatever level of stretch feels right for today. And let's take one more long, slow breath, directing that air deep. And as you let go of that breath, we'll transition to the left tibian. So the tibialis anterior sits basically on the left front side of your shin, the outside of your shin, the muscle side. So let's start by panning through that muscle with your lacrosse ball. Look for what needs attention. Experiment a little bit with the angle of pressure and the amount of pressure. This can be a sensitive area, especially if you're a runner or do a lot of walking. Just be sensitive to that. Just feel out what kind of tension and pressure feels right for you. We want pressure release. We don't want pain. Doing your best to target that target tissue with your breath. As you let go of that breath, just let go of that tension through that tibian. Again, turning off any muscle we don't need. We do need a few to hold this release, this exercise. But a lot of muscles we don't need. So relax through your face, your head, neck. And let's take one more breath here. And as you sigh out that breath, we'll shift our focus to the left calf. So working through the back part of that muscle, that's soleus or gastroc or a combination. Start by searching, and then once you've found an area that needs attention, experiment a little bit with how you're addressing that tension, whether you're angling your calf a little bit, whether you're stacking your other foot on top or lifting your hips. There's a few variations of this to make it more or less intense. Generally, the less of your body that's in contact with the mat, the higher pressure you'll get. So just experiment with that. Find a position that lets you stay as passive as possible and also gives you the right stimulus that you need today. And remember, this program is meant to be progressive. So if you've been at this for a while and the tension's not too bad, feel free to get a little bit deeper into that pressure and tension. And again, using pain as your guide. Pressure release is good, pain is bad. And falling into that nice relaxing headspace, that pacing of breath that helps you relax. Let's take one more breath here. And as you let go of that breath, we'll take our attention to the right side. So targeting that right tib end again. Going face down on your lacrosse ball, panning through that front side of your right shin muscle, looking for what needs attention. Playing a little bit with how we're applying that tension. And sometimes it's helpful to move your foot and ankle through a bit of range of motion to help free up that tissue. Sometimes it's helpful to move on the lacrosse ball. Sometimes it's better to stay still. It's really no wrong way to do this. The only way to find out what works for you is by playing around and experimenting and paying attention to how your body's responding. Whatever that stimulus is, let that be your focus for today. And then settle back to your breath. Find that nice calming rhythm of your breath. And imagine letting go of tension through that calf area, tib end area. As you let go of air, imagine letting go of tension, letting go of stress. Let's take one more breath here. And as you let go of that breath, we'll shift into the calf. So the back side of that lower leg. We do want to be certain to be on muscle here. We don't want to be on tendon. And it may be tender, but it should not be painful. So settle into the right stimulus that your body's telling you it needs today. And the basic level here is just letting that leg sit on top of the lacrosse ball. Level 2 would be stacking your left leg on top to add a little bit of pressure. Level 3 would be lifting the hips to increase that pressure more. And you have to settle into whatever level of pressure is right for you today. Doing your best to continually scan for any part of your body that's active that doesn't need to be. The more passive, the more relaxed here we are, the better benefit we get. Staying nice and chill mentally. Living in your happy place and just enjoying the moment. Let's take one more breath here. And as you sigh out that breath, We'll set that lacrosse ball off to the side. We'll go flat on our backs and take some attention into the left ankle circles. And start with nice, easy circles. It's helpful here if you just lock your shin into place with gently holding your shin and try to move only around the ankle. Start with nice, easy circles, slow and deliberate, and slowly ramping up tension, not in pace, but in range. So attempting to carve out new range with each rep. And just a little more aggressive as we work our way through this minute. Each circle, challenge yourself to find a little further depth into your range. Again, using pain as your guide. This can be uncomfortable, we just don't want pain. And the harder we work here, the more benefit we get. Let's finish with some big force, squeezing through those corners. And let's take a breath and switch sides. So switching into that right ankle, grabbing hold of that right shin, and gently taking it through its full range. Nice big circle. First few reps, just feel out your natural range. And as we work our way through the minute, just being slightly more aggressive. Again, paying attention to your pain levels. But if we've been at this for a while, try not to just go through the motions. Really challenge yourself to work towards that end range. This is how we really create new positions of stability. Continually working and carving out new range. Let's finish with some big force for these last 10 seconds. Really squeezing into those corners, making that ankle work. Let's take a big breath out, and we'll work our way into a squat stretch. Start by standing your feet about the distance that you normally squat at, and if you're not sure, aim for about shoulder width. Just gently sink your hips down towards your ankles. And don't worry so much about position or quality of your squat. We're really just trying to stretch tissues. And if there's a position in the squat where you start to feel pain, let that be your finishing point. And if you need to, you can pause the video and grab something to prop yourself up to finish at that spot. Whatever the end range of your pain-free range of motion is, just hang out there and concentrate on getting passive. Relaxing through those hips, relaxing through those knees, relaxing through those ankles, relaxing through your face. Let's take one more good, nice diaphragmatic breath. And as you let go of that breath, we will call it a day. Thanks for joining us here for 5-Pillar Mobility. Hope your hips and ankles are feeling great. Hope you enjoyed the session. And if you liked the video, remember to subscribe and like. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.